on to this now. So AmaZulu Queen Ntokozo kaMayisela's legal attempt to halt plans by her husband to take a third wife this weekend has been struck off the roll with costs. The High Court in Pietermaritzburg delivered the ruling today and found that there was no urgency, and kaMayisela had given King Misuzulu kaZwelithini consent to take other spouses. But the Queen's lawyers argued that she had given her blessing on condition that any other marriages would only happen after her civil marriage with the monarch had been converted to a customary one. Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda Ngcobo was in court and filed this report.
Lawyers representing Queen Ntokozo kaMayisela argued that AmaZulu King Misuzulu kaZwelithini is not a man of his word, and the court interdict would provide protection against potential bigamy. She argued that since she has entered into a civil marriage with the monarch, he cannot proceed with the two planned wedding ceremonies to Queen Ntokozo.
This order, my lord, will help us to actually respond, to say, but no, we have this interim order and we are holding you on your own way to say, I'm not going to be married to Mami. But the order will help us, my lord, in terms of making it a shield, because there is a lot of double speak, my lord, of which we fear that if we do not have this order, the rights of the Queen will be prejudiced.
But Judge Bongani Mngadi had questions about a letter written by the Queen to the royal family in which she confirms she gave the King consent to take more wives.
I don't understand what is the objection from the Queen. If she has agreed to that, it was discussed with her and she agreed to that. She even said, they went further and they said her marriage will be converted either by approaching the court and seeking a court order. In other words, declaring that the civil marriage that exists between them is in fact a customary marriage. Or they go through a divorce and then they remarry according to a customary marriage. So if she has agreed to that, and now the King, as part of that agreement, she is taking steps towards marrying other women or other women. What is wrong in that?
There's been much fanfare around whether or not the King has been honest about his intentions to take Queen Ntokozo as his third wife. There have been newspaper articles, an announcement from the King's former spokesperson, and other communication about two wedding ceremonies set to take place between the 24th and 26th of January. But in court, through his lawyers, the monarch simply denied this.
The first requirement is there must be a right at risk of being infringed upon. Now, whether, assuming, which we, from the outset, even before the application, made it abundantly clear that there's not going to be a marriage, that the understanding is quite well, I cannot enter into that marriage because I will be committing an offense. And as the Zulu King, I would never do anything untoward the Zulu nation, the royal family, and myself.
Well, that might be the word of the King. But if you look at the actions that have been taken on behalf of the King, they tell a different story.
Discussions around whether the King intends to marry Myeni or not led to a debate around what constitutes the final stage of a marriage in this instance.
My lord, this is not a process. This is the last stage. To getting married, even in customary marriage, this is the last stage, my lord. We submit, my lord, that even if the King gives us...
What is the last stage? Is it not formally getting married either when the marriage certificate is issued? What is the last stage?
No, my lord, the marriage certificate is just a confirmation that on such a date you've got married. So now the King is embarking on the marriage.
It will only when people are trying to register a marriage that the authorities will say this marriage cannot be registered because you are married to another person. So it seems to me the last stage is when you are issued with a marriage certificate.
Ultimately, the court struck the matter off the roll with costs, and Queen Myeni could still take up the matter on a normal basis. There's still a bit of confusion lingering in the air as to whether or not the king deems the planned events for the 24th and 26th of January as wedding ceremonies. This comes after the AmaZulu monarch stated in his answering affidavit that he has no intention to take Queen Nomzamo as his third wife over those dates. But Monday's judgment paves the way and gives the green light for those events to continue. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ziyanda Ngcobo in Pietermaritzburg.